Okay, so 82, we're talking about, I think we mentioned this last time actually, that Hashem gave us the proof that he wants us to be involved, and he used the proof of having food right in front of us. Did we talk about, right? We had the food right in front of us, and we actually then have to make the effort to, doesn't matter that the cup is right here, I have to get it in. And that's just the most basic, simple level of understanding, right? But now that's easier. Water is one thing. When we have food in front of us, we have to not just pick it up, but we have to have the teeth to chomp, and the tongue, and the taste buds, and the swallow, and the epiglottis, all the different pieces that are involved. Well, Hashem is just showing with that basic, you have to be involved. And then what if the food's not in front of you? Oh, you have to make it. Oh, you have to go to the store. Oh, you have to make money in order to buy the food. Oh, so you have to go and get a parnasa in order to make money. Oh, all the different steps in order just to get the food right in front of you. Right, but he uses the food right in front of you to say it's not going to help that it's in front of you. It doesn't make you stronger. It doesn't make you, you're not going to, have all the nutrients value from it being on your plate in front of you. It has to be ingested. So that's the basic level, but then he takes it the steps further that he wants our involvement. We're going to get much deeper into this today. Yes. So now we're going to go on to 83. So we're going to discuss now why we have to be involved. And again, Hashem wants us, He wants us to do, right? Hashem tells Adam, go into Gan Eden, la'avda or the Shamra. It's built into the system that he wants us to do. But now we're going to try and understand a little bit more of these. He gives two reasons. HaBitachon talks about two reasons why Hashem specifically wants us to be, why he wants our human involvement, why he wants our efforts. And his two reasons that he talks about are, number one, to test a person, which we'll expound on, and also that if Hashem understands the nature of people, that if you're not busy with the right thing, you're busy with the wrong thing. I think summer camp. I think kids with 10-week vacation who did. As soon as I read that, every time I learn this, and I think that Hashem keeps you busy with good things so that you're not busy, so that you're not going to do other things. I immediately, especially this time of year, think, kids with a 10-week vacation. That if they're not, the camp, but that's not necessarily so practical in Israel. But anyway, this idea that when you're not busy with the right thing, you're busy with the wrong thing. So those are the two reasons he gives, and now we're going to do it a little more inside. Did you, what? Oh, I thought you, okay. So number one, he talks about it is being, Hashem wants you to be involved in, he uses the discussion of parnasa to test a person. What does this mean, to test the person? So if you're lacking something, and first of all, you go out to work, are you recognizing that you're working because Hashem wants you to work? Or are you doing it for other reasons? Are you putting Hashem first in the way you're working? Are you following halachos? Are you doing it in a sever panim yafot? Are you doing it in a way that is with midot tovot? Right? How are you going to go about your effort? Kochi va'otzem yadi. No, I got this, God. I actually, I'll get to this later. But, okay, so the first thing he's going to discuss, as I said, is the idea to test the person. And are you serving Hashem or are you rebelling against Hashem? Are you serving Hashem? Are you going to go put in your efforts with recognizing doing it because Hashem wants you to work? When you work, are you recognizing that it's only Hashem who is going to make you successful? Or when you're not successful, are you recognizing that too is from Hashem? Or you think, oh, that was me. Lo, ze gam Hashem. So this test is really our awareness, our consciousness, our hashkafa of Hashem's involvement. Now, mind you, when Hashem wants us to put in the effort, it doesn't mean that we're going to succeed. But that's also our awareness. Does Hashem want me to succeed? Or Hashem is choosing that I should not succeed? Do I not get the parnasa? Is that shidduch not right for me? Are my children not the way I want them? Lo inyan. Hashem is testing you with your human efforts and involvements because He wants you to be involved. Mashiach b'self, whatever is going to be at the end, this is also up to Hashem. Yeah? And that's part of the test. Okay. Okay. He talks in here. I just was thinking more about how much inside are we doing versus talking about it. But I'm going to try and do a little more outside following the book, and then we'll see if we like this style better. So, number one, the test itself has no inherent value. Hashem can make something happen easily or harder. We can get parnasa easily. We can have nachas from our children. Hashem can make our health without our human involvement. But the test itself is just also part of the process from Hashem. Yes, Hashem can bring about the Yeshua, the easy, the health, the whatever it is, easily or hard. So what I am trying to say is recognizing that all these facets are part of Hashem's wanting us to be involved. Clear? Okay. The end is going to be the same. Hashem can make anything happen easily or difficult. The end is going to be the same no matter what. Yeah. I feel like there's just a lot of, this is, right, this is from Tehillim, Kuf Chaf Zayin, right? Im Hashem lo yivne bayit shav amalo, and shav shoker, shav shomer, shav shoker, shav shekad shomer. Thank you. Yes, right. The end is going to be the same. If Hashem wants it, He doesn't want it, it's going to happen. It will be. But our job is to do. Okay. I heard a beautiful, beautiful idea by the Baal Shem Tov. I love this. When we say, one of my favorite psukim is Shlach al Hashem yahavcha v'hu yichal kalecha, just put it on Hashem. I love it because I do that all the time. I'm like, I do the effort. Don't worry. We're supposed to do the effort. I do the effort, but I really recognize the end. Hashem, it's all yours, baby. You want to trust that Hashem, all your issues you put on Hashem is going to, we say, Yichal Kelecha, and He's going to feed you, right? He'll take care of you. Baal Shem Tov has a beautiful idea of the Yichal Kelecha as the shorish of it being a kli. Shlach al Hashem yahavcha vehu yichal kelecha, meaning He's going to make you a kli. How do you want to be seen? Do you want to be seen as do you want to be the kli? I'm going to put it on you, Hashem, you want. I always say this, back to Beit Binyamin. I always say this about Beit Binyamin. Hashem, I just want to be a kli to help other people. I just want to be a kli in your avodah. And, okay, Hashem, you want me to be a kli? I'll be a kli. You don't want me to be? Seder. Kibalti. But this is so much of what it means to put the human effort in to recognize Hashem's involvement. The more we do, the more we're recognizing Hashem's work. Yes? That's the goal. And that's the test. Anything else? Okay. The other piece about the test that he mentions is the nisayon, is the human effort, is my involvement going to make me a better or worse Eved Hashem? Is my involvement going to bring me closer to you, Hashem, or further from you, Hashem? Am I going to be Mekadesh Shem Shemayim in what I'm doing, or Chilu Hashem Chalila V'chas? These are all part of Hashem wanting us to be involved, because this is what it is going to bring out in us. And this is what I mentioned before. When I am working for Parnasa, when I am working for my health, when I am working for a shidduch, for my children, am I doing it in a way that is, again, following halacha, following our hashkafa, following a way that is going to bring a kiddush Hashem into this world, or am I going to do things in the wrong way, chavila? Am I going to do things that are going to not look so good or are going to affect other people negatively? These are all pieces of the idea of being tested with human involvement. The other piece is that I said that when we are, man's nature is that when you're busy, no. When you're not busy, you get in trouble. So Hashem wants us to be involved because if we didn't have to ever work, if we didn't have to ever toil, if we didn't have to ever build, if we didn't have to, and we just sit back, no good comes of this, ever. Right? If we're busy with things, if we're busy with good things, as anachnu beseder, and sometimes Hashem just needs us to be busy so we don't get busy with bad things. And again, I say this about kids in the summers or anytime, like if you're just hanging out, like no good is hanging out, nothing good is going to come out if you're hanging out between 12 and 3 in the morning. But if you had a job to do in the morning and you can't stay out all night, so then you can be up for minyan because you can be. But I say this about kids, but obviously it's easy to see it in somebody else, but the same applies to big kids. It's the same thing. We know for ourselves, if anybody is honest with themselves, if you're busy with things, right? You want a job to get done, ask a busy person, but if you're busy with things, you're more or less going to be on the right track if you're doing it right. But if you're bumming around, what are you doing with your time? Nothing good. Tacha. Okay, so Hashem wants us to be involved to avoid that. Yafeh. So now we have, he has a nice way of saying it, that it's out of complete kindness of Hashem to keep us busy. It's actually Hashem's chemla to keep us busy. He also tells us in here that he wants us to be part of creation. When we feel, it's easy to think of when you're doing arts and crafts. Yeah, it's just an easy example. We do arts and crafts, we create something beautiful, beautiful mosaic, a beautiful picture. We are so excited. Like, look what I made. And in the kids, when the teacher made it for them and they're not so excited about it because they didn't make it. When the kid comes home with a picture if they actually did it or didn't. Same way, when I make something and my beautiful pottery, my beautiful leidatma, my beautiful, challah, my beautiful dish that I made, you feel like Hashem wants us to have that feeling. Like when you're involved and you create something, Hashem, I am the creator and I want you to also create so you can get a little taste of what it is. It's exciting. He's giving us all these opportunities to be involved in that, to have those feelings. That's what it is to be involved. Now, can you imagine if as we are working for, trying to find a shidduch for that one, as we are trying to help somebody with their leidatma, if we had these things in mind, we'd be so happy to work. We'd be so happy to be involved, and we would treat our involvement differently. Okay. As yafeh. Then he discusses, on page 89, the righteous person, he doesn't have to work. The tzaddik doesn't have to work. And you're like, really? So, why? And he gives a very practical reason. The two things don't apply to him. He doesn't have to be tested. Hashem very well knows what he's capable of and where his intentions are. And number two, he's busy with good things. So the two reasons don't actually apply to him. But he also then lists all these other reasons of what it is to be a tzaddik. Yeah? This one we'll do inside. If a person, number 89, I'll just do in English for time's sake. If a person strengthens himself in the service of God, choosing to be fearful of him and to rely only on him with regard to both Torah, worldly matters, additionally, if he turns away from inappropriate character traits and instead strives towards good character traits, and he does not rebel against Hashem, even at the times when he is at rest from his stresses and does not turn towards leisure, rather he constantly involves himself with the service of Hashem, not being swayed by his evil inclination or by indulgences of this world, then in turn such a person will be relieved in the need to exert himself in the search to abstain. So there's a list, yeah? Not just a simple list to reach all of these things. I feel like, you know what, he's such a tzaddik, yalla, don't let him, he doesn't have to work. He doesn't have to involve himself in, it's okay. I was talking to, we'll get to this soon. Anyway, so he's going to be sustained without any exertion or hard work. And he talks about, then he gives the quote from Mishlei, Lo yar'iv Hashem nefesh tzaddik. I'm not going to starve the soul of the tzaddik. Yafe. Now we get to the very interesting piece of tzaddik v'ralo and v'rasha v'tovlo. First of all, any questions until now? We're all good? Yafe. So now we get to the very, very famous question that many have had throughout Tanakh, starting from first Moshe Rabbeinu. Hareini nat kvodecha, or please, Hashem, explain this to me. And what does Hashem answer? Right? If I reveal my mission to you, I might have to, right? Lo yireni adam v'chai. No, Moshe, now's not the time. I can't reveal the secrets. And he actually lists many different, where is this? On page 91, he actually lists many different Nevi'im from Yirmiyahu, Habakkuk, and Tehillim, Melech David, and Malachi. They asked all these questions. So we're not the only ones that want to understand this. Yeah, this has been asked for all of eternity. Why is it that we can see somebody and we're like, I don't understand Hashem, they're so good. Why can't she find her shidduch? Why I'm watching this amazing person, why is he suffering with this brain tumor? I don't understand. Why are they trying so hard for parnasa and they can't make ends meet and the kids are just, they're starving. Things don't make sense. And Hashem says, listen, I have my reasons. I can't explain them to you. You're never going to understand. I have my reasons, but you won't understand them. So, last paragraph on page 92, while the prophets asked this question, they did not offer a response that explains the reason. This is because the reason that a particular righteous person is tested with poverty and a particular wicked person experiences good in this world is different for each. Hashem has a different cheshbon for each person. We would never be able to figure out exactly what Hashem's cheshbon is, and it won't make any sense to us. And therefore, Hashem says, "Hanistarot laHashem Elokeinu v'aniglot lanu ulvanenu." Things are going to be hidden, and only Hashem can understand them. And even Shlomo Melech had the answer, "Hatzur tamim palo." This is actually from Devarim. You can't understand. Not the best answer for us. That's not why we came here today. But the Shaar HaBitachon gives a list of reasons that while we can't understand Hashem's reasoning and calculations, there are ways that we can have insight to some things that Hashem takes into account in the calculations. So in our little minds, we can start to understand, how much of that, we don't know. Right? We don't know Hashem's recipe, we just have the ingredients. So, yalla. So now we're going to look through page from 93 and try and have an idea of, he's going to give 5 reasons. 5, yes, 5, yes. He's going to give 5 reasons of tzaddik v'ralo. Why is it that somebody who seems to be such a tzaddik is suffering and has so many difficulties? Okay. So number 1, he talks about the idea that we see somebody as a tzaddik, we don't know what they did before. I'm not even talking about Gilgulim from before, but before in his lifetime. We don't know actually what goes on to somebody we see, but we don't know. We don't know, and a person himself might not know. He might think he's such a tzaddik, he doesn't know. Maybe he offended somebody, maybe he did, maybe previous sins he didn't know about. Yacholiot. Okay, again, these are things that only Hashem can have such understanding. Number 2. And by the way, finishing that idea, he brings a pasuk from Mishlei, where Hein Tzadik Ba'aretz Yeshulam. The righteous man will pay for his sins on earth. Talking about Ba'olam Hazeh. So we're going to explain that a little more soon. But the idea that he has to tzaddik, and again, because a tzaddik is even held to a higher level. Okay. Again, I can't really understand this, but so here I hinted at this, but number 2 is there's some tzaddikim who suffer in exchange for the reward in this world, in the world to come. Meaning, let me have all the suffering now, so that in the world to come, I'm clean. So a tzaddik we might see is suffering now, but Hashem is not just talking about a previous sin, but He's saying, no, but I'm also cleaning you. This is also your purification process, so that when you go up to Shemaim, right, inflictions of love, right? These are, Hashem is saying, this is from the Gemara, I didn't make that up, this is from Brachos. This is an idea that these are inflictions of love that Hashem is giving, so that the Olam Haba, He's clean. Or more reward for the Olam Haba. Okay, number 3. There are some people who suffer to show, this is a hard one, but it's true, to show other people the level of tolerance of suffering and his good demeanor in the service of of his Creator, so that other people can learn from him. So, and he's talking about the story of Eov. Before I get to Eov, I'll tell the story of Eov. We know Eov was a person who was wealthy. He had everything, all his kids, his house, his everything. And the Satan basically said, yeah, but if he didn't have all that shefa bracha, no, I don't think he'd be so devoted to you, Hashem. And he kept nudging Hashem, pushing until Hashem said, okay, so fine, you want to test him, test him. Again, this is a very oversimplified version. But so Hashem says, okay, so he loses his parnasa, he loses his house, he loses his 10 children. Eov is still what? Very focused. He's still Hashem Natan, Hashem Lakach, Hishem Hashem Mevorach. Right? He still holds on to Hashem ever so tightly. And then he had 3 people. I wrote down the names because there's no way I would remember these. Eliphaz, Bildad, and Sofer. And they start really saying, no, it's because you did wrong. It's because of things that you've done. And Eov is still maintaining his innocence and keeping. And eventually Hashem comes back to Eov and just says, because you stayed loyal. Because you stayed loyal, even though you can't understand my ways. You can't understand my ways. You won't ever understand. But Eov recognized he was wrong in trying to think that he understood, and in trying. But anyway, B'kitzur, Eov begged Hashem for forgiveness. Hashem blesses him, but Kol Tuv again, and he builds up again. Eov was even davening for all the other people that questioned, but Hashem really ended up blessing him. But why did he have to suffer? All the people around him are now learning from him. There's a person in our community, Shaar, Yonatan Eitan Ben Batsheva. Such a wonderful gem. So good. And he's suffering so terribly. Really Hashem? But now I see all that's happening. Not just all the greatness that people are doing and taking on, and people are watching him talk about Hashem. People are watching him sing Mizmor LeTodah. People are watching him focus on learning. People are watching him showing up to Simchas with all the pain, all the difficulties getting traveling and cane, eye patch, or whatever. He's still going to everybody's Simchas to be, and people are watching him. Wow. Okay, if he can do this, I want to be on his team. I'm following his ways. Is it fair to him? This is Hashem's cheshbon. But he is building and raising people up because of his suffering. Again, we can't understand Hashem's ways, but we can start to see some of the things that might play a little part in some of the cheshbonot. How it affects the community, how it affects other people, how it affects the surroundings. This is all part of it. So his suffering is inspiring so many others. Kacha. Should have a refuah shlema b'mheira. Number 4. This is also a hard one to swallow. There are some righteous people who suffer due to the wickedness of the people in their generation. And we have had this where Hashem tests maybe with poverty, with illness, with all these other things, to see how he is going to stay loyal. Actually, there's a discussion that this is Mashiach. Mashiach is going to be like this. Mashiach is going to be struggling and suffering. I don't know. Anyway, I'll leave that. But essentially, he's suffering because of the generation, which I would like to believe we can help that person. And number 5, punished because while they were, this is a story just like Eli Cohen with his sons Chofni and Pinchas, suffering because while he had the opportunity, he didn't protest when others were doing wrong. And it was in his hands, and he could have affected, and he didn't. So we know the story with Eli Cohen, that he was punished with poverty because he didn't deal with his children properly. Okay. So this is why the righteous suffer for previous sin. We have the little summary, cute summary at the bottom. For a previous sin, to earn a greater portion in the world to come, to teach others how suffering should not hinder their divine service, to display true righteousness when the nation around is not holding there. And lastly, he did not affect his surroundings appropriately. Okay. Now we're going to move on to why Tzadik Virala we did. Now Rasha V'Tovo. Yeah, I am very aware of this Rasha, Mamash, such a Rasha. The way he whatever. I don't want to cause so much pain and suffering to so many people. All the money, he has his private jets and his penthouse apartments in all these different locations, and I know what he did to people. I know how he's cheated people, and I know what he did to his family, and how and he is living mabsut. He's having the time of his life. So when I read these, I think of him because it just helps me realize I don't understand Hashem's ways, but also because we all know certain people on certain levels, people who make the news, and some of them were living, until they were actually caught, were living very comfortable lives, very happy lives. Okay, let's understand a beautiful way to understand Rasha V'Tovla. Number 1, similar to, or the opposite of, but similar to the Tzadik Viralo, is previous good deeds. Maybe he did things that we are not aware of. He might not even be aware of. All these stories that he dealt with Kvura, and he helped people back. Like that. There are stories that they did some act that Hashem is still repaying and is still giving him credit for something he has done in the past, or he's being rewarded for some good deed. And just like we said with the Tzadik Viralo, in this world, now he's being rewarded in this world. But what's going to be with his Olam Haba? That is the question, right? We don't understand, we can't see, we can only see what we see on a superficial plane over here. Okay, so now number 2. This is an interesting one. There are some wicked people who their good fortune is like a deposit to be kept by him, and it will be with him because Hashem is giving it actually to a righteous son of his. So sometimes somebody has, it seems, all the riches in the world or the good life, but it really is going to be because the children are going to be deserving of it, and he will just be passing it on to them. He gets to enjoy it in the meantime. Hashem's cheshbon. Why do some people find shidduchim so easily? Why do some people have healthy children so easily? Why do people... Again, how will it affect later? These are all things that we can't understand. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I agree with also I find when I'm looking at people like that, I'm looking at their outside. So that outside looks like they found the shidduch so easily. I can't speak, I don't really know what they went through before. So
No. We have no idea what people went through, what people are going through. Is it really a good shidduch? Is it really not a good shidduch? We don't know. Right.
So look at the outside
As I'm saying, we can't even begin to comprehend. He's just trying to bring it down so we can feel like we have a little yeshuva dat with understanding that Hashem has a plan. Hashem takes this into calculation. Okay, number 3. Number 3. This good that is given to him is ultimately actually going to be the cause of his downfall. That it will ultimately be the thing that will bring him down. The easy life, or Hashem will have a reckoning with him. He'll end up doing something good. This is again what you were just saying. The same thing applies. The shidduch, the riches, we don't know. We can only just see the outside. Number 4. Now, this is an interesting one, and this is like seriously only Hashem can understand this. He's giving it to him knowing that later on he's going to do tshuva. Like King Menashe. Hashem knows what somebody will do. Again, it does bring about the questions of Bechira Chavshit and all of that. Again, there are lots of questions on this, bless you. But he understood, he can see that, let's say Menashe, King Menashe, was going to come around. So the idea that Hashem has foresight, has knowledge, has understanding way deeper than ours. Number 5, I like the most. There's some wicked people who might be given good fortune due to an act of kindness that his father performed. Zchut avot. I'd like to believe that our actions also affect future generations. We have the opportunity to give zchut avot to our children the same way what we have or don't have is because of zchut avot. And number 6, which is on page 98, this is an interesting one. There are people who are tested. There are some wicked people who have, in order to test people who are around, it brings out something in them. If they see somebody, they will either start wanting to follow in their ways or stay away from them or not follow in their ways. To be Rishayim like them, hey, I want to party like he's partying. This is someone I want to stay far away from and learn how to not be. I see the way he's doing it. It pains me so much to see this is the way he's doing business. My gosh, I need to learn all these halachot of how to, so that I can be the opposite, right? So sometimes we see things and it's merely meant to take us, give those who can watch an accounting, that's not the word I'm looking for. You know, look and see, is that something I align with or don't align with? What am I learning from what I'm seeing? And it's to test the people who are seeing them. It's to test the people who are friends with them, are around them, who can observe and just say, what am I learning from this person? So again, sometimes, so just to quickly sum up, the Rasha V'Tovlo is, what are the previous good deeds that a person did? Maybe there was something that they're being rewarded for in this world. And number 2, as a deposit for his son, they're given good things so that the next generation can enjoy, because it will be an inheritance for the generation that will be the tzaddik, which is next. And number 3, the good given to him is really something that will ultimately cause his downfall. Number 4, Hashem knows that he will ultimately be deserving, because he will do tshuva. And number 5, that because of him, number 5 was zchut avot, because there was somebody who did an act of kindness that is so worthy of him having good. And number 6, to reveal the insides of people who are witnessing. And it will bring out somebody's inside, whether for the good or whether for the bad, but it is to test those people who are outside. Okay. Now comes to me one of my more favorite parts, I know it's not really so fair to say because so much of this is so amazing, or all of it is, but now comes actually down to a little more nogea b'davar, like very, very practical on a different level. And that is choosing an occupation. Maybe it was more relevant to the group I had before because they're in college, but I don't know, I still think that I never know what I want to be when I grow up. But I just actually want to tell you one thing to close up what we've done so far. Do we finish at 8 or 7:45?
I think in
8? Okay. 7. Do you start at 7 or 7:15? That was the question.
start at 7.
Oh, so it's only 45 minutes. So it is still 7:45. Okay. So you know what, Dafka? It's so funny. I'll tell you why this is so funny. Okay. I mean, it's not funny, but I was speaking to, okay, we're going to save the occupation because it's actually different topics within the occupation. So we're going to leave it at here anyway. I was asked to speak to Neshot Miluimnik, wives who are, as we understand, as we know, husbands are back, sevev, od sevev, and hold on. Okay, and struggling ruchani and obviously also practically, but this was. So I'm not really sure why, but they asked me to come speak. I'm not married to a miluimnik, I don't know, but said there I went, and ultimately, I mean, it was really just to give a shiur and then open it that if anybody had questions. Okay, fine. And there was a lot of but what's going to be with my kids and trauma. Actually, I'm going to tell you 2 pieces because there's something else I hope I remember to tell you. It's so gorgeous, but trauma, how my kids don't even know what's normal anymore, and bedwetting this, and this one's reverting back to that, and I never know when he's coming home, and parnasa this, really so many, mamash, really a lot of issues. And so we spoke, and at the end, so there was a lot of discussions back and forth with the women, and then at the end I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to close this? Hashem, please, Hashem, please, Hashem. So they're talking, I'm just davening, Hashem, please just give me, and I pull it all together. And so then he pulled through, thank God. And there were different complaints that they were worried about, yeah. And I said, did you turn to Hashem with this complaint? Did you ask him for help? You're worried about your kids? I understand. Did you ask him did you bring Hashem in? You just kind of saw everybody meaning everyone gets very wrapped up in, but I need this, and how am I going to do that? And what about this? And oh right, Hashem is the one that orchestrates it all and heals all and supplies all and is a source of everything. And you sometimes get so focused that you forget, Hashem, please hold me up. Hashem, please pick me up. Hashem, please take care of my children. Hashem, please give them the peace of mind. Hashem. And it was a reframing moment, right? Because it's, oh, right. They're all datiyot, meaning they all are very close to Hashem. I mean, I don't know, they're all religious and they're all, but it was a reframing moment. I was thank you, good job. But that was it, right? And I think that really is what all of this is about, is, oh right, Hashem's in charge of all this. I only see, you were saying, I only see what's in front of me, and I don't even understand that. But who is orchestrating? Who is giving the test? Who's having us busy with our things? Who is deciding tzaddik v'ralo, rasha v'tovlo? Who is deciding how much parnasa, how much this, how much simcha, how much this? Yesh borei echad, v'hu hamanhig. I'm going to end with this now, even though, because it was such a glorious moment. There was one lady who was the one who was worried about the trauma of her little kids. A 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, maybe there was a 7-year-old, but she's they don't know, they don't know what's normal. They're living their life. They don't even remember what it was like. They're so young. They don't remember what it was like when daddy was home all the time. They don't remember that like we just used to joke around easily. They don't remember that like, oh, we would just go on vacation and not worry about sirens or rockets or being called up, or daddy has to bring his, madim with him wherever he goes, or when he comes home, is he going to be leaving? Like, they don't even remember the good old days. They only know like, and all I thought about is this is what we're all living. We think we're living now. We're like the kids. We think that this is normal. I'm not talking about war, yeah. We have no concept of what those Gan Eden days were. We have no concept of what it will be like when daddy really comes home. We have no concept of when daddy comes home and he stays in the home. Obviously referring to the Beit HaMikdash. We think we're living life, we think we're doing, and yes, things got all more complicated now with war, but we actually don't know. Like her children, she's worrying about her children, but Zeh Chaim Shalanu. This is our entire life. We really don't remember, because we can't, what our old norm was of korbanot, of Beit HaMikdash life, of having the Shekhinah with us, of seeing clarity and understanding things so different. But when she said that, that's all I heard. The children don't know what's normal, and neither do we. But she, as a mother, remembers that. And our job is to dream of that, or tap into our old sources of that idyllic life. Be'ezrat Hashem, we should be zocha to have that. Be'ezrat Hashem, mamash, kvar hayom. Have a good one, ladies.